So we are now moving on to our third step in our annotating strategy process, and that is to underline any assertions made by the author. And as the module page explained, an assertion is a strong opinion that can be supported by fact, and there was an example there on the module page. So if I just said something as simple as the sky is blue, it's cold in here, I like vanilla ice cream, mostly opinions there. But if you try to add facts behind it, like in the example that I put, PCC students are the best in the country, that's still an opinion, but if I started putting evidence behind it, including the grades, GPAs, transfer rates, then it becomes more of an assertion. So we're going to be looking for those strong opinions, those assertions throughout the text here. Go ahead and I'll give you a couple minutes to look. Let's start from paragraphs 1 through 6 and see what kind of assertions you can find. I'll go ahead and pause it here and give you a couple, or you can go ahead and pause it and take a few minutes to look through it as you try to find assertions by the author. It could be one sentence, it could be more than one, but usually it's either one sentence or a short little section of a sentence, like a small phrase. So go ahead and take a couple minutes, and then you can start up again if you want to pause it here, and we'll review some of the ones you might have found. Again, paragraphs 1 through 6, any of the assertions that you find there. Okay, hopefully you were able to find a few. Of course, I don't have a chance to call on volunteers here, so I'll point out maybe a couple of the ones that you might have seen, some of the more obvious ones. And again, an assertion is a strong opinion by the author, and it normally is done to provide some kind of argument that the author is trying to make, some kind of point that the overall thesis is trying to cover. And you might have seen one here in paragraph 3, for example. This is aggressive advertising of alcohol fosters a harmful myth about drinking. This definitely can be considered a assertion, and if my students were here, I would ask them why did they think there was an assertion, what made it an assertion. And you see some strong language there, aggressive advertising. It's not just regular advertising, it's aggressive. And in the paragraph right before it, there was a lot of evidence that was trying to discuss why it might be considered aggressive. A little bit lower also, right here in paragraph 5 and 6, there's a couple of them that would be good ones to underline as well. And again, we're underlining the assertions to show that these are strong opinions that the author is trying to make. And a good one here in paragraph 5 is, among students, the heaviest drinkers have the lowest grades. Now, she will try to provide some details as to why she believes that, but here right now that is an assertion, because again, an opinion. Somebody might say, well, they actually are the best students, the ones that are drinking heavily, which of course doesn't make a lot of sense, but somebody might try to say that, and that would fall into the category there of a strong opinion. And again, she will try to give us evidence to try to prove whether or not that is accurate or not. A couple other ones that we might have found in paragraph number 2, but it being no accident, perhaps that also can be considered an opinion, an assertion there. In paragraph number 4, maybe the very first sentence, part of the myth is that liquor signals professional success. And again, that's going along the lines of what the author is trying to convince us it's not really happening, but that, well, that's not really true, but it's being proposed by the alcohol companies, that this is what is good for us and what is really happening in the world and what can really make us better and more successful. So those are some of the examples that you might have underlined. There are more, of course, but those are just some examples that you could have underlined, so you can see an example of some. And again, we're looking for strong opinions that are assertions that the author usually will try to provide evidence for. So that's going to be our next step, is to locate some of the evidence that goes with it. You probably will see some evidence already linking to it as we just kind of discussed some of these ideas already. If you'd like to go ahead and finish this up, you can go on to all the way to paragraph number 12 and look for any more assertions. And then once you're done with that, you may go on to the next step, which is to box the evidence.